안녕하세요, 여러분. Welcome to my next video. In this video, we are looking at how to conjugate verbs into the past tense. 그럼 시작할까요? So, past tense is very similar to the present tense. You are just adding a little bit extra to it. So, we've got the verb 가다, to go, in its dictionary form. 가요 would be in the present tense, and if you don't know how to conjugate into present tense, then check out my video on the present tense. And 갔어요 would be the past tense. Alright, so the rules are very similar to the present tense, like I've mentioned. You're just adding something different. So if the last vowel after dropping 다 is a or o, you add as어요. And if the last vowel is not one of the above, then you add 었어요. Only ha is followed by 였어요 and becomes 했어요. So we've got 가다, we drop the 다 because that is our first rule in any conjugation. And then you're looking, okay, so the verb stem is 가, the last vowel there is a, and you're adding as어요 in that case. So it becomes 갔어요. And we're going to look at how to combine vowels in the next slide. And the next word is 잡다. So again, dropping 다 becomes 잡, which is to catch, 잡다. And then that ends in, or the last vowel there is a, but it's got the consonant. So we're adding as어요, and it becomes 잡았어요. The next up, we have 먹다. And 먹다, after dropping the 다 off, the last vowel there is o. So it's the second criteria or second rule that applies. So we're adding 었어요, and it just becomes 먹었어요. 서다, to stand, we drop the 다, we're left with 서. Now the last vowel there is o, so we're adding 었어요, and it becomes 섰어요. Next up is 하다. 하다 follows the third rule, so it becomes 했어요. And you just need to remember that 하다 is 했어요, any verb, any 하다 verb. So 하다 verb is to do, and they're quite useful because you can add a noun plus 하다 verb and turn it into a verb. So for example, 공부 is studying, the noun studying, and 공부하다 is to study, is a verb. So you combine the noun with the verb and you have a verb. So 공부하다 becomes 공부했어요. Alright, so I've covered this in the present tense as well with the present tense conjugation, but we're going to look at the past tense. But the principle here is the same. So sometimes you are combining vowels. If you have a verb stem that is ending in a consonant, then you're just adding the ending. So as어요 or 었어요, right? So like 잡다, 잡았어요, because you have that final consonant blocking it. So you're just adding it on. But if you have a verb stem that ends in a vowel, the vowels will combine. Sometimes they combine into one vowel, and sometimes they combine into the complex vowels. And this table lets you know how to combine all the different, for all the different combinations, basically. So we've got 가다, to go. 가 is the verb stem, and then it ends in a, and then you're adding as어요, right? Another a. So when those two a's meet, they just combine into one. Instead of saying 갔어요, it's just 갔어요. The next one is 서다. So this one is 서, the verb stem. You're adding o after because it's the second rule that applies. And again, these two combine, so it just becomes 섰어요 instead of 썼어요. The next one we have is 오다, to come. Now, our verb stem is o, right? So it's the first rule that applies. So we are adding as어요. Now, what happens when o and a meet? They combine into the complex vowel wa, and so this becomes 왔어요. Next up, we have 주다, to give. 주 is our verb stem, ends in u, so it's the second rule. So we're adding 었어요, and when u and o combine, they combine into the complex vowel wa, so it becomes 줬어요, right? 왔어요, 줬어요, 줬어요. So instead of saying 주었어요, 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 줬어요. Okay? It's just faster. Next one is 켜다, to turn on. So the verb stem ends in 여, so we're adding 어. So when 여 meets 어, it just stays 여, and therefore this becomes 켰어요. Next up is 가지다, to have. It ends in 이, and 이 is then followed by 어서요, because it's the second rule. And when 이 meets 어, it becomes 여. So it then becomes 가졌어요. 가졌어요. Next up is 내다, to pay. Ends in 에. 에 would be followed by 어서요. But when 에 meets 어, it just stays as 에. So it becomes 냈어요. And the last one is 세다, to count, ends in 에. And when 에 meets 어, then it just becomes 에, and it just becomes 셌어요. Alright, so this table really provides you with all the different combinations, how the vowels combine, and then how you can basically conjugate it. This is just for easier, flow of the language. Okay, let's have a look at some more examples. So we've got 자다, to sleep. So 자 is our verb stem, ends in 아, which means we're adding as어요. But the two as combine and it becomes 잤어요. 우다, which we had, but ends in 어. Then we're adding as어요 because it's still the first rule. They combine into the complex vowel 와, and then you're just adding the rest. 왔어요. This is the same for 보다, to see. 보다, 보 ends in 어, adding as어요, 보았어요, 봤어요. Okay? 살다, to live. We've got 살. There we do have the final consonant there, meaning it's stopping the vowels from combining, so it just becomes 살았어요. Okay? So if your verb stem ends in a vowel, you will be combining it with the next vowel somehow, whether it's just merging into one or merging it into a complex vowel. But if you have a final consonant, then you are just adding that suffix at the end, and it just becomes 살았어요. 가르치다, to teach, ends in 이, adding 어서요. When 이 and 어 meet, then it becomes 여, and so you are conjugating into 가르쳤어요. And 사다, to buy. So here we have 아 again, 사, and again adding with 아요, and it becomes 샀어요. Alright, next up we have 만들다, which is to make. 만들 is our verb stem. We've got the final consonant, so we don't have to worry about combining. We're just looking what the last vowel there is. The last vowel is meaning it's the second one. So we're adding 어서요, and it becomes 만들었어요. Next up is 만나다, to meet. 만나 ends in 아, and so we're adding as어요, and it just becomes 만났어요. 끓이다, to boil. We've got 끓이, ends in 이, is meeting 어, so it becomes 여, and so it is 끓였어요. 끓였어요. 그만두다 is to stop. 그만두 ends in 오, so it's the second one. Second criteria, we're adding 어서요, and it becomes 그만뒀어요. They combine the 오 and 어, combine into 워. So 그만뒀어요. Alright, this one is for you to practice. Pause your screens and conjugate these into the past tense. And I will see you in a second. Alright, so 찾다, to find. 찾, we've got that verb stem there, ends in a consonant. So we're just looking what the vowel is and adding the suffix. And it is 찾았어요. 찾았어요. Next up is 생각하다, to think. 생각하 is our verb stem. So anything that ends in 하다 verb will be conjugated to 했어요. So it becomes 생각했어요. The third criteria or the third rule. 마시다, to drink. 마시 ends in 이. 이 is meeting 어, becomes 여. And so it is 마셨어요. Alright, here we've got some sentence practice. So again, pause your screens. You just have to add the verb at the end. Doesn't tell you the verb, but you can pause the screen and use papago just to figure out what the dictionary form of the verb is, okay? And try to conjugate it into the past tense, and then we'll be able to come back and review the sentences. Alright, so the first one is 아침 먹었어요. 아침 is breakfast. It can mean breakfast or morning. 아침 먹었어요. 먹었어요. 먹다 is the verb stem. No, the dictionary form of the verb to eat. 먹었어요 is in the past tense. I ate. 거기 없었어요. I wasn't there. 거기, there. 없었어요. I wasn't. So 없다 is to not have. So it can be I don't have something, but it can also be used like I wasn't there. It didn't exist there. I wasn't there. 학교 갔어요. I went to school. 학교 is school and 가다 is to go. 갔어요 in the past tense. 학교 갔어요. 선생님 만났어요. 선생님 is a teacher and 만났어요 is the past tense of to meet. So 만나다 is the dictionary form of the verb. 만났어요, I met. 어제 잤어요. I slept yesterday. 어제, yesterday. 잤어요. I slept. So 자다 is to sleep and would conjugate to 잤어요 in the past tense. Now, did you notice that we're missing something here? So we're missing 저, right? I. So all the English translation has I ate breakfast, I wasn't there, I went to school, but is missing from the Korean sentences, right? So there is actually a reason why I do this, because 저 is dropped so many times, especially in conversation, in speaking. And I think it's really good to kind of get students to get used to that from the beginning, because if it's so obvious that you're talking about yourself, then you can easily just drop I and say the rest of the sentence, which is why you can add 저 아침 먹었어요, 저 거기 없었어요. Yes, you can, okay? But that is not how Koreans necessarily speak. And yes, if you are in a professional setting, if you want to seem professional, then yes, you need to add 저, okay? But I'm guessing a lot of you just want to learn Korean to go to Korea or to speak to their friends, and this is why I am teaching it this way. And now you also know why. Alright, that is it for today's lesson. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. I will come back to you. If you liked this video, if you found it useful, please give me a like and subscribe to my channel, because I'll be uploading 3 videos a week and hopefully they will be all packed with a really good useful information for you to study Korean. 그럼 다음에 또 봐요.